But beyond that, I think another challenge I would say is alignment. So because we are doing a lot at WriteTech Hub, we have the community, the training programs, the services side, you know, partnerships, and each of these different arms has to connect. So making sure everyone understands the priorities, the standard, and where we are going is very important, because sometimes the work is not, just about doing the tasks. You also have to make sure that people understand why the task matters and how it fits into the bigger picture. I'm Zainab Daodu, and I'm live with Nexus Tech Talk. Hi everyone, I'm Zainab Daodu. I'm a senior technical writer and the founder of WriteTech Hub. So I actually started out my career in tech as a backend software engineer, where I was building APIs and services for a fintech company in Lagos. But while I was in that organization, I got involved in a developer experience project, and that was where I noticed something. You can build a really good product, like a solid product, and people will still struggle with it if it's not properly explained. And it's not something that you really see when you're the one building it, because you understand it, you are behind the scenes. But the customer is coming from a completely different point of view, a different use case, different context. So how you explain the product really matters. And that's what led me into tech writing. And from there, I started WriteTech Hub. And at WriteTech Hub, we focus on two major things. One is helping companies improve their product documentations and processes so users can actually understand and use what they've built. And on the other hand, we help train technical writers, helping them build the kind of skills that they need to work in real world and enterprise roles. So it's basically both sides. On one side, helping companies communicate better, and then on the other side, helping writers become good at doing that work. To be honest, it started from me wanting to share the knowledge I was gaining from working in enterprise organizations as a tech writer. Being on the inside, I could clearly see the gap between what tech writers actually do in organizations and what many people coming into the field thought tech writing was. For example, someone might want to apply for a technical writing role and say, yes, I can write. I've written technical blog posts. I've written how-to articles. And they are not wrong. That is part of technical writing, but it's just one part. In real technical writing roles, especially in enterprise environment, you need much more than that. You need to understand documentation processes, different types of documents, product thinking, audience analysis, how documentation fits into the product life cycle, and much more. A lot of people didn't have access to that knowledge. So I started sharing what I was learning through my personal brand, Z Codes, and that was how the bootcamp started. And then over time, I also, started seeing the business side of the gap also. Company were building good products, but their documentation was not helping users understand the value of those products. So WriteTech Hub grew from both needs, helping writers become job ready and helping companies improve how they communicate their products through better documentation. I think one of the biggest challenges has been how fast the ecosystem is changing. Technical writing is not the same thing it was a few years ago with AI, automation, new workflows, and the way product teams are now moving. The role is changing quickly. So as a founder and also as a senior tech writer, I have to keep learning, keep evolving, and keep making sure that what we teach and what we offer as a company is still relevant. It's not just enough to say this is how tech writing has always been done. No, we have to pay attention to where the industry is going. And then another challenge I would say is letting go of control. I'm very particular about quality. I like things to be done properly and, to the highest of standards. And sometimes I can even be a bit of a perfectionist. And when you're building a company, that can become a problem because you can't do everything yourself. In the beginning, it felt easier to just write it myself, review it myself, fix it myself. But that means everything starts to bottleneck around me. So I've had to learn how to trust people, build better process, document how things should be done, and allow people to grow into the standard instead of me trying to carry everything. It's still a work in progress, to be honest, but it has been one of the most necessary and important lessons I've had to learn. I'm still learning this one, to be honest. But I think for me, I would say it's taking breaks and learning to slow down before I completely burn out. As a founder, there's always something to do. There's always one more message to reply to, one more document to review, one more idea to execute. So if you're not careful, you just keep going until your body forces you to stop. So now I try to listen to myself more. Sometimes that means, stepping away from social media, reducing how available I am, or just giving myself permission to rest without feeling guilty. I also remind myself that I'm building for the long term. Everything does not have to happen in 1 week. Even though in my head, I want everything to happen in 1 week. So, yeah, that's it. The training and community side motivates me a lot. I love seeing people come into our programs, unsure of themselves. They know they want to become technical writers, but they are not confident yet. Some of them even, have some skills, but they are wondering, can I really do this? Am I good enough? Do I have the right skills? And then they go through our programs, they learn, they work on real documentation tasks, they start understanding what the role actually requires, and you see their confidence grow. So by the end of the program, they are not just saying, I want to be a technical writer. They can actually, show what they can do. They can speak about documentation with more clarity, and they can apply for roles with more confidence. So some of them even land roles, after going through the program. And this transformation really motivates me a lot because it reminds me of why I started. One is definitely unreliable infrastructure, like internet issues, power issues. When you're working with a distributed team and people are joining calls, creating content, with different responsibilities, these things can really, affect the flow of work. Beyond that, I think another challenge I would say is alignment. So because we are doing a lot at WriteTech Hub, we have the community, the training programs, the services side, partnerships, and each of these different arms has to connect. So making sure everyone understands the priorities, the standard, and where we are going is very important. And because sometimes the work is not, just about doing the tasks. You also have to make sure that people understand why the task matters and how it fits into the bigger picture. I do what I do because I've seen how much clarity can change things. For businesses, clarity helps customers understand the product, use it better, trust it more, get value from it faster. And for individuals, clarity can open doors. A lot of people have potential, but they don't always know how to structure what they know, communicate it, or show it in a way that creates opportunity. So for me, WriteTech helps it in that middle space. We help companies communicate better, and we help tech writers build the skills to make that happen. That's really why I do it. I would say the accelerator program and our technical writing training programs in general. And I'm proud of them because they've moved beyond theory. It's not just come and learn what tech writing is. It's become, more practical. People are working on, documentation tasks, building their portfolios, learning tools, and understanding what it takes to work in real technical writing roles, and seeing people move from uncertainty to confidence, from just being interested in tech writing to actually creating strong documentation samples and getting opportunities has been really fulfilling. It's not perfect, we are still improving it, but I'm really proud of the impact that it has had so far. Even within WriteTech Hub, we have full-time tech writers who were participants of the first cohort of the tech writing bootcamp, and they are really good at what they do, and so many other tech writers like that who are working in different roles. So I'm really proud of the impact our training programs have had. In the next 3 to 5 years, I see WriteTech becoming one of the leading technical writing companies, especially for companies that care about clear user-focused documentation. And I don't want us to just be known as a training company or a documentation agency. I want us to be known as a company that is shaping how documentation is done, from talent development to documentation strategy to tools and systems. I see us building stronger programs, working with more businesses, supporting more technical writers globally, and also building tools that help teams create and maintain better documentation. That's where I see us going. My advice would be pay attention to the gaps you keep seeing. Sometimes your company starts from something that frustrates you, something you keep noticing, or something people around you keep struggling with. And also, as you build, pay attention to what keeps breaking in your own system. If communication keeps breaking, fix the communication. If quality keeps dropping, build a better process. If everything depends on you, that's also a problem to solve. Founding is not just about having a big vision. You also have to be honest enough to keep fixing the small things that can stop that vision from working. I'm Zainab Daodu, and I'm live with Nexus Tech Talk.